Welcome to Speaking of the Voice podcast. I'm your host, Alicia Dell'Aria, voice actor, DJ, and hypnotherapist. I'm fascinated with the voice, where it comes from, how we heal it, and how we can use it to better express and connect with ourselves and others. This podcast is a collection of conversations exploring the voice, different tools to heal it, what happens when we connect to our most authentic voice, and how we can courageously create profound impact individually and collectively by speaking up from a heart-centered place. Thanks for joining me here. I hope it helps you heal and empowers you to use your voice in a more authentic way. Okay, so you're in Houston, and the last time I talked to you, you were in New York on your way to Egypt.
Yeah. Last time we talked was either October. It was October. It was October,
Okay.
the end of October. And besides sending you a final, a final post meditation, post hypnotherapy session feedback in November or early December. This is our catch up, but I've been a little bit everywhere. I'm like I just mentioned to you, like I'm in a recalibration stage, and I've got all this light coming through. I'm in Texas currently,
But still wearing a turtleneck, which we love.
but still wearing a turtleneck because the chill is still there. It makes its way here.
I'm a girl from Buffalo, and when I moved to Miami for a couple of years, I was wearing turtlenecks on the beach. So I can't explain that one.
Isn't that the strangest thing? My most harrowing winter was in New York City, in Manhattan, bundled 24/7, layers, blankets, everything, jackets on jackets, and then somehow in Miami and somehow in here in Texas where it's 50 degrees, I feel like I need to be equally as bundled, and I don't understand.
Make it make sense, and be careful who you say it to, because
tolerance.
The thinning of the blood. I don't know what it is, but whenever I mention that to my 716 friends up here in Western New York, anyway, I get shunned.
They don't understand.
They don't want to hear nothing about that. They don't know. They don't understand. I don't understand. No one understands. Okay, it's just cold. All right, so we're in Houston.
Yes.
From Egypt. Did you go back to New York?
So I came straight back from Egypt here, and my whole your hypnotherapy session actually came at a really important time of like sitting with myself and feeling, thinking in decision-making mode about a lot of different options I had laid out for me. And, knowing that I had a project in Egypt that had a lot of friction with it, it provided me that level of clarity around how to move. And so when I did leave for Egypt, I carried like a different level of like fortitude into the experience. And gratefully, Egypt spit me out this time because I radically chose receiving and knowing that I'm worthy of having the level of care, the level of love, the level of presence, the level of protection that we worked on. Like it just felt, I remember waking up, I think this was like 3 days before it like ejected me, and I was like, yep, I'm ready to come back to the US. Like I think I've completed my situation here. 3 days before, I remember waking up in the morning and having like your voice and the hypnotherapy just running. And I was like, I'm filling out this sheet, this feedback form, and my energy's changing. Like I'm shifting. Like here I am, like I'm not succumbing to the challenges. I'm not succumbing to the friction. And that's what made it oh so clear that okay, like your chapter is closed now. Like it's time to start a new chapter, and it's time to like lean into winter in a homey, cozy place. It's time to start the year in peace, and I couldn't thank you enough. Like
Oh man.
it was like feeling the hand of a friend like on your shoulder from across the world, um helping you to see and support you through like like a challenge, but just like having that having that support was so yummy and so nourishing.
Uh-huh. Oh, thanks for sharing and saying that. I just started listening to The Alchemist yesterday, and there's a character in The Alchemist called the Old King who's essentially like embodied spirit or like the whisper of intuition. And there's a moment in the story after well after meeting the Old King where the protagonist is seeing the Old King in common people's smiles and behind the eyes. And as they're speaking and saying, like, I was whispering, it wasn't necessarily me. Maybe it was like through my voice, but it's definitely something more like guiding and leading you. But, your ear was a little bit more attuned. Also, for context, your theme for your presenting problem in hypnotherapy was receiving what you deserve, is
Yes.
what we had whittled it down to. Um, yeah, Year of the Snake and shedding and just kind of like tracking the timeline of things. And it's so easy to get distracted in the glamour of Egypt and a business opportunity there, like these these kinds of things. And I'm so proud of you for like, you're just like, I don't buy into that. Like I had Egypt today, maybe tomorrow will be Kenya, let it really, your ability to let go and really listen and honor is like, it's very inspiring. Thank you. Um, I'm so curious. Yeah, I'm so curious how you felt like before coming into hypnotherapy, and then you've described it like some of the shifts, like how it's whispered to you since
Ooh.
then.
Ooh. I would say that right now I'm feeling very spread in terms of community. And being
Mm.
spread in terms of community means that mixed with, adulthood and everyone's uniquely personal challenges and schedules and time zones, it has made it really challenging to keep up with the people that I care about. And mixing that with, my own travels, um, it tends to put me in a mental place, and it tends to put me in, I guess, a more masculine energy. I'm not relaxing in the coziness of sitting around the fire with my people, just being. Like that hasn't happened in the last several months, in the last year, actually. So coming into hypnotherapy, it was a combination of reconnection that I needed, not only to my body, but also to supportive sisterhood. Like it felt like the hug, the coming over and sharing tea and being able to express myself so fluidly and be held, beyond space and time and physical, tangible quality. Um, and it offered this like womb-like hug, like very womb-like safety, that reminded me my power. The medicine is, I think, ultimately in the feeling. It's in the like opening of the heart. It's in the opening of the places in the body that were stuck. I mean, we literally went through, our session was like 5 hours in full? I think it was
you
a
got that
5
VIP
hours.
package, those.
It was a 5-hour session with approximately 3 of those hours navigating technical difficulties with Wi-Fi, but
Right.
also just like peeling the orange, peeling all the like hardened, calcified, like concerns, worries, stories that I was carrying, that I didn't have a connection that I could do that fully with for a little while. So from clarity and jumbled state of mind and conflicting like energy through my body to like breath, to I'm allowed to be supported, to holding and feeling you in the same state, although still far. but I mean, it's just so cozy, so wonderful to just let down all that armor and to be seen and be witnessed and be supported, like, and then seeing you in your magic, like getting to feel that too is so powerful. Like it's why like in my world, when people have gifts, I want to be there from the get-go, because it's not a I support you once you are up in the top tier. That's not real friendship and love and evolution. That's I want to be there in the beginning. Like, I want you to know how much magic you have, and that just receiving it and feeling it was, yeah.
I giggle because it really does remind me of when we met on the beach. We were at South Point and had somehow we sat next to each other, but like the first thing you said to me was like, your aura is pink. Like it's like a magenta. Something along those lines. Like, talk about like being right there from the get-go. That was like far before I had even considered. I hadn't even sat in hypnotherapy as a client at that point. What do you think? Maybe that was like 2022. Was that 2022 or 2023? If it wasn't the end of 22, it was the beginning of 23. Yeah. Oh man, so much journeying since then. Oh man. Thanks so much for your courage. And, I know it was your first time sitting with the practice of hypnotherapy. I remember when we sat, part of the reason it was 5 hours is because we needed like friend catch up time as well. And through that conversation, it was like we were kind of bouncing around to a couple of different, we're trying to figure out which was the main presenting problem, because you had a few really good ones, but I noticed that through our conversation, it felt like we were just like closing tabs consciously. I find that when my clients have like clear bandwidth, they're able to go under the surface. Like I love this visual of the peeling back the orange. Like we can go underneath the skin and go within, like get a little bit deeper in there to the juicy stuff. And then even during your session, which is always so profound to me how the subconscious works, but there were things that you had brought up in your intake that were being answered in the scenes that your subconscious brought forward. And it was subtle. It wasn't
specifically answering or presenting problem, but I remember when we finished and we were reviewing what we had both just experienced together, I remember being like, oh, so you'll never do this again because of this. And you were like, wait, what? And I'm like, yeah, your subconscious brought this forward. Like, can you hear what it's revealed? I remember your face was just like, it's really,
Yep.
really beautiful how it works. Really, truly, when we ask, we do receive the answers. And it's just, are we listening? And how are we listening? Are we willing to hear the answer? That's something that I've been experiencing in like the last week and a half. I've really been working on letting go of apology, and not for like doing something wrong. I don't mean that. I mean
Yeah.
like, oh, I got to tell you something. I'm sorry. I got to tell you something. Or like, I'm so, kind of like apologizing for existing, or just like speaking,
Ugh.
or like being human, letting go of that version of apology.
Yeah.
And even when consciously letting go, I'm not going to say I'm sorry, even witnessing myself still sugarcoating a question because I'm trying to soften the blow of yes or no. And can I really just be okay with receiving the answer and like really being in the light of truth and allowing that to land, and then trusting my own discernment and agency to move with that information into a direction that's in alignment with a higher version of myself. Lots of words.
I'm feeling it all because it's so like, it's so microcosm, macrocosm. Like it's all, the magic of being able to find people in your life that are not identically, because it's impossible, but are on a similar
Wavelength.
chapter of their story.
Mm,
That's amazing to me, because it speaks to the larger, like, energy is changing, and we need each other. We need each other's medicine. We need to not look at each other as competition. We need to dismantle our, you know, power dynamics in general that like set us up for isolation and independence that is crippling, rather than like, we need each other to be giving and getting permission to listen, permission to like be with ourselves, permission to like, yeah, like fuck that apologizing for existing. That doesn't belong here. I see your power, feel your power, my dear. Let's like integrate that together. That's how we go forward. That's the whole point of it.
there's a combination of graciousness to allow each other the human experience. You know, to be human is to be imperfect. And in that imperfection, do we remember our perfection? Do we remember who we truly are? Why are we apologizing for that process? It's almost disrespectful just to be alive, to be in these bodies and to be experiencing. And then, there's that funny thing, like, I'm sorry, I'm not sorry. And I'm like, no, I'm not even, I'm sorry, I'm not sorry. Just like erase all of that. I'm just here. I'm just here. I'm not perfect. If that triggers you, my bad. Like, you please take space.
No, you just did it.
How can you, like, you're right. Thanks. It's hard. It's hard to undo it. You know, it's like I always have this visual of sitting in the mud and just like being messy and just like mud smeared everywhere. And someone's standing there with a towel, like, get clean, get clean. And I'm just like, let it be messy. Let me be messy right now. Like, that's just what it is. If you have a problem with my mess, that's okay for you to go over. Okay, so replacing my bad with it's okay for you to go over there and be in your own experience of experiencing me in the mud. And whatever you learn from that and however you integrate it is so beautiful. And that each step of that entire process is nothing to apologize for. In fact, it's sacred.
um rewind. What a confusing and messed up uh societal value that we don't give people the time, the energy, the effort, the like support in the journey of life, but we rather expect them to just reach their full potential. That's not like there's not praise along the way. It's get to a
For the step
certain
by step.
level.
Yeah. What is that? What do you think feeds that?
Oof. Oof. It feels like a combination of external validation, like a deep-seated uh, uh, unsettledness within someone that's being projected outward. Um, it feels like that's complicated. That's complicated.
No kidding. Yeah, I mean, maybe like the easy things is like the impact of social media on our attention or lack of patience for each other. And additionally, just this expectation of who we are supposed to be, or I hate this word, or should be to fit into society versus just allowing ourselves our own authentic process and path. And that goes so against the grain of for just to kind of consolidate the idea for that 9 to 5 lifestyle of that like get married, house and kids lifestyle, that anything that goes against that is shamed in a sense. Like it is, you know, I've had a lot of successes in my voiceover career. And after 10 years, only this past year was I on my first on-camera commercial. And it was the first time in my whole life that my aunt texted me, "Congratulations, you're so beautiful." And she's giving me, I wanted to vomit. Listen, like, thank you. And also, I've just felt like such a slap in the face that all of the other things that have led to that moment were not good jobbed. And where were all the other times that I was beautiful before you saw me on television? What about all those moments at family gatherings that was not but all of a sudden because now if she said this, I know a famous person. I'm like, this is so gag, dude.
Oh, that's
Are we
so
really
icky.
like yeah. I mean, I think it's also like our definition, like what are we defining as success? And so much of success in our society is defined by doing instead of being. So much of success is by these things that we accomplish instead of maybe what we overcome. Or I love, again, like this peeling back, this undoing, you know? She's commenting on my physical features instead of seeing how much I have changed and grown and matured within in order to be able to handle an opportunity like that. Which leads me to my next question. Um,
Yeah.
what are some personal successes that you experienced last year that are quiet, that not many people know about or were able to celebrate with you for whatever reason that you feel like, "Ah, I did that. I did that."
Hmm. Last year felt like a personal milestone in moving, shifting out of deeper people pleaser tendencies and being in that discomfort of the wounds that I've carried.
Mm,
and you know, the small battles between the sting of, oh, I'm activated. I'm activated. I want to respond this way. I want to take action this way. And allowing myself to breathe and not move the way that the version of me that believes I must prove something, or I must ease the situation by pleasing and fawning, and in some ways manipulating.
Yeah.
And just allowing myself to step back and be more in that higher bird's eye perspective, even if for a small amount of time. Like, and the steps that I hear about so many people moving through, you know, healing and doing that process. But what's not emphasized is how micro these steps are. Like, it's not like I was able to do something completely 360 different. It may have been the difference of taking a single breath in a specific moment for me last year. And even the morning before, the morning several days before I left Egypt, it was such a like I'm not choosing what I used to do in the past, and I'm going to show up for myself now in a different way. Like, it's not moving necessarily to a new country. It's not making a shift or having a sit down conversation with your boss. It's not always those big moments. They really were simplified and small internal reframes and shifts.
Yeah. Oh, you give me chills, girl. It really is in the nuance. Like, the work is so nuanced in that way. It really is in those smaller, subtle shifts that just takes the train. Like, I have the image of a train being on the tracks, but slightly out of the grooves. So it's like going, but it's like, and then this small nuanced shift. They're like taking a breath before and responding versus reacting, or choosing to say no where you otherwise would have been said yes, 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 is that subtle shift of moving those train wheels back into the track. So it goes just go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here I am, like, kind of sort of back on our previous topic, but the small things deserve to be seen and to be applauded for. And when we prioritize them ourselves, then I think we bring about an environment and a culture within our own communities and our own connections that gets more support.
It's making me think, it's not selfish. Like, prioritizing yourself is not selfish. It's your self-responsibility. And even to break down the word responsibility, is your response is your ability. And that comes down to like your own agency and sovereignty, and reparenting yourself, and how you're showing up anew in this moment, and what you're willing to let go of, and what you're, choosing to move into and lean into and listen to. After our session, I'm just going to like do a little brag about you and then let you share as many details as you'd like. I mean, visually, when I brought you out of hypnosis, you looked like 15 pounds lighter. Like, you were like expanded, you looked brighter, like you just looked like weight was really lifted off of your shoulders. Like the shoulders of your soul is a good way of putting it. And I always ask my clients to allow time after their sessions so that they can ground and be with their process. And you were just like a horse out the gate. You're like, I'm so energized. Like, I'm ready to go. You went to an event that night. And your experience. Yeah. That, but mostly what I'm just even when I think about it, since then, it just makes me giggle. What you did within 48 hours of your session.
Yeah.
Talk
Yeah,
about
that was pretty rad.
that was pardon, I'm getting over a cold, so my cough sounds a little gnarly, but that was, oh man, that fired me up. It was like, and again, before I pass the mic, it really was an undoing. It's not like we like infused you with anything. We just removed these blocks that were getting in the way of you just giving yourself permission, being in a state of full trust of the process, and just like putting things out there and allowing yourself to receive what came back. And maybe you want to preface a little bit describing what you do, so for just for context, before you share what you did.
Yes. Yes. Oh my gosh. The immediate aftermath of the session definitely cemented it further. In my work, I work with individuals who are accessing higher capacity for sensuality and intimacy, and everything from wanting to learn about how to relate to themselves, to others, to how they relate in the bedroom. And the experiences that specific weekend, Halloween weekend, were unexpected in the best way. So this session happened the same night I had a Halloween themed kinky get together that was essentially in the structure of like a rapid fire speed date experience. And so we constantly shifted around in partnered groups with different topics and different instruction. And the beauty in this event, it is that it was held with a very integrous facilitator. And someone I love dearly and have worked with, and immediately knew that it was going to be a safe experience for me after not being in an experience like that in several months. But that there was also like a very large permission to do what is being instructed and option given, or completely go on your own quest and your own journey. And being in that space in the first place was me being able to receive the potential of having desires and needs met of mine by people who may be complete strangers and people who I do know within the community, and not putting a specific goal or an expectation on my experience ever. First, I rarely do that, but rather this time was just, let me anchor this deserving of receiving here in this experience. I have an immediate way to integrate this on a physical level. So rather than doing some of the prompts, I asked to be, pet gently and caress gently. And I asked for the hugs that I wanted. And then there was one cute looking guy who was, I guess, eager to please, which was sparked my energy. And I kind of like bossed him around a little bit to just feel his energy and demand the intensity of his devotion for me, which was
Good boy.
really yummy.
Yeah.
And I walked away from that experience not having any like real sexy impact or anything beyond like platonic flirtation and sensuality. But it was exactly what I needed. It was that small dose. And I would have not been able to predict that the next day I sat down. I felt inspired by like the sip of tea I had that night, that I was wanting to fill my entire cup. So I put it out there in a community that I'm in New York, and that I've made many friends in, and said, I would love to do something cozy. I want to host a micro experience, one of my signature offerings that involves food, intimacy, sensuality, and giving and receiving, but at a level that is one person receiving energy from however many folks are in the room. And this can happen in many different ways. And the community just came together with so much ease. I think from the moment I said something, I think it was a 36-hour
Turnaround.
request from the community to it happening. The place came together in a few hours. I think just getting like people organized and having enough time to prep for the event was the thing that took the longest. But we came together, and that event, we had like 15 people from that community that came together, and everyone was blown away at the level of like nourishment we all had. And they refused to not have me in the center receiving. Only one. They refused to not like have me giving more than I was receiving, essentially. And feeling like the community was like, you set this up. You're going to be on the center stage a little bit longer than everyone else. Like you, we see you, we recognize you, and you deserve to be appreciated in this way.
Oh,
It was so
chills.
yummy.
I
And
know
then
it's in the face of these like receive. It just emphasizing the little bit that you were tapping into at the tantra work after our session, and then 36 hours later being in a room full of people echoing, chanting, shouting the same, insisting, requiring the same thing. Oh.
It was so yummy. It was so yummy. And I told everybody while I was there, I'm normally facilitating this experience, and I wasn't sure how, things were going to unfold. It was a more casual get together. But the fact that the way that it led, it was community led. I didn't have to solely be in the guide and facilitator mode. That receiving this work is something that I don't get that often on such a large level. And so it just felt so, so good. I couldn't not, from that moment, from that evening of having a taxi
Receive.
sent me home, very sweetly, the whole time just thinking, it can be this easy. It is this easy. I am.
It is this easy.
My value, my worth is seen and recognized, and I don't have to be shrinking in any way.
Oh, also like putting it out there and seeing what you're receiving back. Okay, so just to like sum it up, you went from the session to having an idea of like being in New York just for a few days, tapping into an online community. You didn't really know people, but they were all interested in the same topic, putting it out there. Hey, do you guys want to get together and create this little casual thing, to basically leading a 12-hour little mini tantra festival, which you paid, I think, $50 for like some snacks and everything else, not only taken care of, but on like a very elite level. Like even the place that you were in, I remember you telling me like it had, you told me it had a really good view, or it just sounded like the guy had like a really
outside of
like
Washington Square Park. Like you could see the arch from his apartment on his penthouse building. It was amazing.
She didn't just like put it out there and was like, hey, maybe we do a Zoom call. No, she went like full into the depths of just like abundance. I mean, oh my gosh. So from that Saturday, um and let's see, so it's been about 2.5, 3 months since your session, since that weekend. And the really cool thing about hypnotherapy work is it's kind of like a ripple effect. Like it just kind of, as the rings go out, it just you keep expanding. Things continue to shift. What else have you noticed, either specifically or in general, has shifted for you since our session?
So I completely filled up after that weekend and saw the light materialized for me. Went to Egypt, experienced a very clear closing of a chapter
Yeah,
that was
that
like
will happen.
really also so supportive for that sense of deserving and worthiness. Came back here to the States.
When you say that, would you agree that it was just kind of like taking off a jacket? You're just like, I don't need this anymore. Just like, I'm done with this. Kind of something in there.
Yeah. I think
Yeah.
the many frames and the many moments in my life that have been miraculous, that I've created, that I've received, plus like the culmination of the hypnotherapy experience and New York is what allowed me to just breathe in a full exhale. I looked around that morning and just, this is not for me. Like and I reached an ease.
Yeah.
I reached an ease, and there were challenges in the following days that just further like, okay, like great. Like this is it. I'm so at ease. It's perfect. Like it's perfect how it's working out. Like all is revealed. And it was. So I came back to Texas to ultimately take a moment to be, because my plan was to be in Egypt for the next several months, working on this project and finalizing it. But then since that shifted, it created spaciousness for me to go inward and to sit with myself. And so I've been here. And actually, I didn't tell you this whatsoever. I didn't allude to
Oh
this
my God.
at all.
I can't wait.
But you're gonna like this.
Who did you meet? What is the name?
Well, who beautifully returned into my like energy field. So I had been doing a lot of processing since I arrived back here in the US. And the initial jolt of like, ooh, things are changing, settling into that, finding grounding. And then this prior week, I finally felt expansion from that, but in a way that opened my field to people who I know, who are dear friends, beloveds, opportunities, even like things have just opened this past week, because I'm not in this like, oh, like things changed. Where do I go? What do I do? I just allowed myself to be, right? And I reached out to a dear friend just to say hello. Or I don't know if I did or if they did. Ultimately, it took about 3 or 4 messages back and forth for them to invite me to their space this weekend and to be in just receiving mode, like utter receiving mode, from a dear friend to another. I would like to take you to the spa. I want to take you to the baths. I want to cook for you. I want to read to you. Like it would be an honor to be in devotion of you this weekend in whatever way feels good, and we can reconnect and just enjoy each other's company. Like, And I simply, it was like I giggled so much. And the flight was booked. It was not his request. I would like for you to come up to see me. I would love to honor you and to spend time with you. This is the flight I'm thinking. Tell me and I'll book it.
Yum.
So and this is a
I'm so
really
happy for you.
sweet connection that is like very beloved human and
Yeah.
friend. So it's
Already feels nourishing. Yeah. Yeah.
and
I'm
just
like
receiving
witnessing
it.
you. Yeah. I'm witnessing you in a completely new vibration. And so let's say, just for example, let's say when you came to me, you're in like a give me a number. Just give me a number because the numbers don't matter here.
Gosh.
1 through
Like in
99.
terms of like
Just it doesn't
incongruent.
matter. Like arbitrary, just arbitrary number.
I was a 9 out in like disconnection.
Oh, interesting. Oh, also fascinating because I specifically only work with people that are between like a 7 and a 10 ready to let go of an issue. So that's excellent. Okay, so let's say you came to me at like a 9 and then you shifted and you dropped into what?
That brought me down to a 6. Like that
Amazing.
eased
Yeah.
the intensity of the teapot.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, so you were living a life at a 9 up until then, and it made sense and it felt on purpose, and then shifting the vibration, you drop into a timeline of the 6, right? Of attracting and living in an alignment of the 6, and things at the 7, 8, and 9 and above don't resonate anymore, which is where Egypt stripped away and where new conversations and new community connections, which was a huge community was really, really important for you in your life without the problem, how it's unfolding and opening. And all of these are opportunities for you to continue deepening your relationship with receiving what you deserve. And it's not about this guy, and I know you know that, as much as it is at the same time.
Yeah.
And there's more. Like we are, you know, yeah, it's a nonlinear process. Yum. What
So now I'm
else?
like sitting at this like, sure, I've got things that I still need to tweak, but I feel like I feel so much more connected. I feel so much more open and in being state. Like if 9 was where I was in terms of disconnection, here
Yeah.
after 3 months, I'm feeling I'll say 3 because there's always improvement, but 3.
Ugh.
That is quite literally on the opposite end of the spectrum. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna tell
And
you now.
it's
I have to tell you something.
uh-huh.
I have a surprise for you. I have a surprise
Oh
for
my
you.
gosh.
I'm where I was in my practice when we sessioned together, I was, I didn't make the 21-day audio for you. And then this week I was like, no, I have to, it's time. So, in the next couple of days, I'm going to send you, it's going to really help support that 3 and opening it up further. And I'll also just say, it's just crazy you're saying this. I always have a word like for my calendar year, like a word that kind of helps me like in thematically or to come back to and in my own practices. And sometimes it takes me until February to figure out what this word was, but mid-December, it was so loud in my ear. Open, the word for 2026, open, and the like an aperture of a camera, just like letting in more light, just letting in more light, more opportunity. And it is that softening and that ability to receive and oh man, the light of truth, just so many beautiful things. But you just said it a few times and I'm like, oh man, yeah, we are on the same wavelength, girl. Beautiful. I think it cut you
Yeah.
off. You had a thought, please.
It's just yes. I agree with you. And there's a magic to that openness this year. We've shed.
Yeah.
We're things have been decomposing, and now new life is coming, and the universe has more in store for us than we could ever imagine. So just remaining
Oh,
open, like
man.
you could be having the most insane life crisis, and that's when things also pop. What is not built on solid aligned foundation must crumble to then be rebuilt properly.
Wow.
It's that isn't opinion. That's how
It's universal
that's
law in a sense.
how creation works.
Yeah.
Um so it's this level of openness that is so confronting, because even I know this human for years now. I love this person. This is a connection that will endure the rest of my life, just like ours. Not endure, excuse me, what a word, but grow and expand the rest of our lives. And here I was, like, even still, like, amazed that am I receiving? This is what this is what can happen when I stop trying to make things happen, when I just take care of myself, and
Wow.
then people and places and opportunities arrive. This is what happens.
Almost like,
And I'm
what was I even
blessed
doing
to,
before?
yeah. Yeah. It's such an unlearning, like that, being in that state of just awe, and really being in the present. And gosh, I fluctuate. I learn by leaving this alignment, and I come back to it, and I undulate, like, through life. But every time I come back to it, it's like, huh. It really
No.
is amazing.
Yeah.
Just draw on the floor, like,
Huh. It could be
damn.
like that? Oh, yeah. You know, I feel like you're describing your freedom, accessing more of your personal freedom and your own authentic authority in this age and, like, in this timeline of you being in existence in this modern moment of history. Whatever you specifically, Andrea, are here to experience. It's um yeah, through the undoing, it's again tapping into the remembering of who we are before we come here, before we're told who to be, before all of these traumatic moments having us placing shackles on ourselves just to fit in and feel like we belong or we're worthy of receiving love. Um, and then just to, like, feel into, like, a new normal that's less painful, that healing can be gentle and our experience here can be less rocky and sharp and edgy and jarring and slower and uh yeah, more easeful, like you said. Gentle is the word I keep coming back to.
I'm just happy that I'm happy that I can be so aware of it, and that I'm here right now in this
Oh,
moment, um, recalibrating with less judgment on myself, with more compassion, with more fierce belief and devotion to my own work and my own spiritual process, my own self-development, um, and like not fighting the flows of
yeah.
life and people and places and things. Like, every time I come back into the flow, it locks in stronger.
Yeah. Oh, I feel that.
It's the
Yeah.
muscle. The muscle is
Yeah.
being built more and more and more and more, and I fall out of alignment all the time. But I come back to it, and I'm appreciative for the friends and the energies that also support me to get right back there.
Mm, I echo that. I have this visual as you're talking of a wave, a really big ocean wave, which and this represents life, the inevitability of crashing and the power, the intensity, and the curveballs that life can throw at us. And alignment is us surfing that wave. And then falling out of it is like to be in the undercurrent and feeling like you're driving and you're still with that wave. And it really is just about your tenacity and your willingness to get right back up on that surfboard, right back up on riding that wave. And that yeah, that's scary and but it's like good scary and better than drowning in the undercurrent and also speaks to it. Um like there's a way to live our lives where it is easier, like we're just riding that wave. We find the next one and we ride that one and in rhythm with like a greater force, it's a cosmic wave.
Mm, mm. How is the hypnotherapy wave in this
Yeah.
moment in your world? Because we touched on it just a little bit, and I want to know like what the next peak is looking like where you're at in terms of
Oh, I
of
want to know that too.
because it feels to me like momentum is building for you, and
Mm.
there's something here that is going to pop. And so I'm curious like
Oh, thanks.
what your own like senses around that.
Yeah. So my energy behind my hypnotherapy process has been really to surrender control and to be in in a state of deep listening. And what I mean by that is I know some other hypnotherapists who have, I want this many clients a week and I want my career to be here and this is my strategy to arrive. And I'm just like, where am I with offering the best session that I possibly can? Where am I with my own confidence as a hypnotherapist? Where am I in really I just feel such a huge responsibility with the medicine of hypnotherapy. Where am I within myself to be able to show up and offer that as a conduit? And my process has been in terms of deep listening has been, oh, I should reach out to this person. I really feel like this would resonate with them, yourself included. When I reached out to you, like, it was like I woke up one day, your name was like on my mind's eye, and I was like, absolutely, Andrea. And then, as you said at the top of our call, like the timing of it was so perfect for you. So, that to me is like what the deep listening is, because it's not my ideas, it's who's really ready to show up and receive, where I am also ready to show up and give. So since our session, I've undergone some big personal shifts as well, and uh, in time with your snake shedding, and yeah, my schedule is really open right now, and also I have not been quiet. Like I have not like I've continued doing work on my own end of preparing and of making my own process faster. So it's not 5 hours for my clients to sit in. And that is working. That really was a unique thing for you.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm not doing a 5 hour session with just anybody. Unless you're paying me hourly, I think there's also, I think there's also something to be said about being tight, like kind of tidy with the work and really honoring like time frame and, that's bringing in like the masculine side of the femininity of the work, which is a little bit more ethereal and energetic, if you will. Um, so even recording this conversation is a part of the process where I'm just like, I know that that's exactly what I need to do next. And then like after this call, I'll make your audio. I have an audio for someone else that I'm going to make this week. And then after that, I don't know what's next, but it's fine because my plate is full. So I'm like, how can I ask for more if I'm not even doing what I'm asked to do right now? So just focus on doing that. And that's like the nuanced, tiny little step by step to arrive to the next big thing. And what's been happening is, I've created the Instagram and I'm starting like all of the kind of branding and like external business stuff that we have to do is slowly taking shape. All of this time has allowed me to make my legal documents and get insurance so that I'm practicing in a way that keeps all of us safe and an integrity, and had a lawyer look at all of that, and my own pacing has just allowed me to do those things in a way that doesn't feel stressful but feels really good, because overall this is just what I'm doing, and I'm in no rush for that to be anywhere but exactly where I'm at inside of it. And then that offers an exhale for my anxiety of like, am I going to be ready? Is it going to be let all of that go and just trust the process of arriving is also the process of preparation. So, yeah, I have some guesses of where that's going to go. But I've also learned, to release the how, because my own human imagination is so limited compared to the miracles of the universe. So I just return to that deep listening and that prayer of, it's not about me, it's really just about who is ready to receive, and not getting caught up on a certain number of clients, and really opening myself up for exactly the right client, because this work is no joke. You really have to be ready to let go. And the work is, you know, as much as having a session is going in and we fix the problem, there is a process of integration that comes after that. There's more work to be done. Andrea, you very much could have been like, no, I did enough healing work today. I'm not going to this Tantra workshop tonight. I have this idea of reaching out to the group chat. Maybe that's something I'll do next spring. But your integration was like, no, right now. Your integration was that weekend, Halloween weekend of receiving. Your integration is still happening as you go off this weekend to sit with your friend. And people are so fast and so distracted that they're not always ready for that. So it's also my process of becoming in my practice and opening my practice has also been understanding that people might say, yes, I want that. Yeah, I'm ready. Let's get it on the calendar. But actually, they're not ready, because they're not really ready to sit with the shift for a few weeks afterwards to really ensure that um, they're strengthening like their new baby deer legs, if you will. They're learning to walk in a new way. And the courage that it takes and the strength to really allow things that are not serving you to fall away. Like, I don't know, like, it's not just like your average folk that's willing to really let go of this business opportunity in Egypt. And the fact that you could say, I'm not looking at how fancy that looks and sounds. I don't care how much it cost me or whatever numbers are attached to it, because I know that I'm deserving of something so much bigger and more aligned. Can we let go of 50K and welcome in 500,000, Can we let go of Egypt and allow it to be Houston? And what if that's in more alignment, even though it's not as cool as the pyramids? What if that's in more alignment, my little black turtleneck in Texas, than all the way out in the Middle East, or Africa? I don't know anyway. Yeah. What would you say to someone after your whole experience with hypnotherapy that is hesitant to sit with the practice, that's like on the cusp of, oh, am I ready? Am I not? This financial investment. It's too much right now. What would you say to them to help ease their worries and maybe confusion and the stories that they're telling themselves, preventing them from really dropping into who they are, who they're meant to be?
I think it's such valuable information that our body is telling us, I'm uncomfortable, I'm nervous, I'm skeptical, I'm clenching. How often do we have resistance when we want to go to the doctors, when we want to go to the gym? How often do we have resistance when choosing something that's good for us? And part of my experience was also, I'm going into a new modality and my own body is, okay, I haven't experienced this before. I have no baseline of this. And there is some hesitancy. There is some clenched physicality there, energetically even. But that's not danger. That's not inherent danger. And that's where the body, the energy, the opportunities and moments of miracles, that's where they burst through, is through discomfort and through sitting with it and allowing yourself to be committed to your own personal work. Maybe not even knowing the fullness of the wounds, maybe not knowing the fullness and how the solution is going to materialize, but knowing that my intention is healing. And maybe it's this modality, maybe it's this session, maybe it's 5 sessions from now. The point is my intention is I'm getting to the source of the pain. I'm getting to the source of the self-sabotage even. I'm getting to the source of what's blocking my creatorship. And I'm making a conscious, intentional effort to be supported, acknowledge all of that's in there, and allow spaciousness so that can shift. Being as unbelievably fearful and maybe worried somatically uh uh jittery, like there were moments where, settling into the beginning of our practice, my body was like, I don't know if this is going to work, all of that chatter. I had to come back to trusting the foundation and the rapport that we had built in our intro call, to understanding the structure of what you shared, and being open to the medicine and being open to what's going to happen. There's just no payoff if there's no risk. There's no payoff if I don't sit in discomfort, do something new, do something that's going to challenge me. And so bring the fucking skepticism, bring the fear, bring the concern, bring the hesitancy, and meet it in the session and see what happens.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I often find the resistance is the last final words of the part of us that's about to die, you know? And what's on the other side of that is your rebirth, is coming into more of a version of you that's more present, more grounded, freer, more peaceful, more here instead of, you know? Yeah. Thank you. What else? How are you? Like, I would love to hear a little bit more about your work as well, so people can understand, and if they're interested in working with you, specifically one-on-one.
Gosh, there's so much there. Part of my recalibration being back here in Houston and reconnecting with my body in a different chapter of consciousness and my own practice is also taking that openness approach and allowing the right people to come to me, the right events, co-collaborations, offerings. And where my energy and my intentionality is integrity and warmth and empowerment. So where my practice shifts, how it affects my one-on-one sessions, my couple sessions, my group experiences, I'm way more aware and confident of myself with the credentials and the experiences that I have to support. But I also feel a sweet sense of ease with who vibes, who feels it's right. The body knows, our mind sometimes needs to catch up, and so my ultimate message for anybody who's interested in working on themselves somatically, similar to hypnotherapy, but use of other modalities as well, especially if you combine working with Alicia and myself, that there's a profound sense of that relief and that exhale that comes through the work. And we need that collectively, and I'm here to support it.
Oh, girl, you are poetry in motion. Do you know that song?
No, I don't.
Oh, I'll send it to you. It's an oldie. It's poetry in motion. No, that's not how it goes. Ignore that. That was terrible. I can hear it in my head, but it's not translating in my vocal box. Me. I need to warm up anyway. Anyway, I'll send it to you. But it's a charming oldie throwback. But you are. Yeah,
Thank
thank
you. That's
you.
so sweet. That's so
Yeah,
lovely. Thank you.
you are. I'm so excited to witness what you do, and um you are your self medicine. Even just this phone call, I'm like, ah, yeah, there I am. You know, right? Even having like a tiny bit more clarity on the year ahead in terms of how I show up to it. I was, a DJ sometimes, and I was feeling quite burnt out from DJing last year, and have really welcomed taking off many weeks now to just how do I want to show back up to this? And last year I was feeling really successful because I was DJing 1 to 2 times a week. And this year I'm like, what if I DJ like 5 times all year? But in those 5 times, I'm so energized and they're so big for me that like that feels even more successful than DJing 30 times in the way that I did the year before. And that feels like you kind of like sitting there brushing my hair and putting a flower in and being like, yes, that is the new way. That is the
Mhm.
way. So thank you. I do feel hand in hand with you in that way.
May
Is there
the slowness, the openness, and the like quality over quantity supersede all of
uh-huh.
that like need to be busy
Yeah,
and to do. 'Cause
that
we can hold
part.
each other accountable of that.
Okay. Deal. Yes, pinky promise. I am like working smarter, not harder. Like I'm gonna get inside, but I don't need to wait in this line of people. There's a back door. And then another thing I just keep monitoring to myself is I do believe in miracles. I believe in miracles. Period. And dot 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 dot.
Period.
Amazing. Um, if I could give you like a microphone to that every single ear in the entire world could hear your voice and receive a vocalized gift from you, what would you say?
Wow. There's so much. Yeah. The messiness of life is always going to be there. And choosing to fiercely live it and to fiercely prioritize connecting to all of your systems, to all of the medicine within your community, within your own spiritual work, and others who can support you. That's the way we evolve and change the world.
Thank you so much.
This is so much fun.
This has been super fun. Anyway, okay. And cut and scene.